Okay, so when I was running through the video I made of the game against John Bastarach, I realized that I'd left out one interesting point that I wanted to amplify, and that led to another thought that I had, which I wanted to share with you. So the interesting point in the game that I overlooked unintentionally was when I was so happy with this move of knight takes f6 check, which was that nice forcing move. Unfortunately, I was overlooking a forced mate in 4. So in this position, maybe you've already seen it, but I could have played knight g5 instead. And knight g5 just forces mate in all variations. The simple-minded one is if the knight is taken, the queen just mates on h7. That's one possibility. If the knight isn't taken, let's see, we have the pawn that could get pushed, but now the queen can come into g6, and we have both the knight and the bishop supporting the queen on this h7 square. And so taking a knight, for example, just doesn't do any good. We come in with check. It almost looks like the king can run away in this case, but now the bishop actually delivers mate because the e7 square is occupied by black's bishop. So he's got no place to go. So it would have been a cute little forced mating sequence if I'd seen it back at this point, but I was a little too overcome by the beauty of knight takes f6 check. And part of the reason I didn't see it is because I was trying to play fast in this game. Wednesday night was the debate, last debate between Trump and Clinton, and I was interested in getting home to see that with my wife. And so I decided for a change I'd try to play really fast. I'm somebody who habitually gets in time pressure, as anybody who plays me probably knows. And it's a problem for my game. And I've analyzed it before, and the problem is that I'm kind of a perfectionist. And so for that game, I went ahead and I just played as quickly as I could, and just played the moves. I think the whole game in about 15 minutes or so, and fortunately it worked out okay for me. But you do overlook some things. I didn't blunder anything, but I did overlook this pretty mate and 4 sequence. And I got thinking about this concept of being a perfectionist, and I wanted to show what I meant by that graphically, because I'm certainly nowhere near a perfect chess player. And the question is, how can I claim to be a perfectionist? And it's really, in this sense, a relative term that applies to chess players of any strength. So if you look at it graphically, and if you consider the amount of time that you spend on one chess move, and on the vertical axis, if we could plot the quality of the chess move. So it might be the number that a chess engine comes out with, or some measure of how good the move is that you actually make. Typically, the more time you spend on the move, the better the quality of your choice is. So, if you think for a while, you get to this point, and you think for a bit more, and you get a better one. Then if you think more, maybe you'll make a mistake and it'll get worse, but then you think even more, and you realize that there's a way around that, and it gets better. And if you did this for a lot of different moves and a lot of different chess games and averaged it out, what you'd really see instead of that kind of grainy result is a curve that looks something like this, where the more time you spend, the better the quality of the chess move, but there's diminishing returns. So mathematically, there's some sort of asymptote up here that I'm approaching, and that's as good a chess move I'll make, even if I spend, for me, an infinite amount of time on it. Now, if I were a grandmaster, I would probably, let's try a different color for the grandmaster. Grandmaster would probably have an asymptote significantly higher than mine. I don't really have room here on the screen. And what he would do is he would approach his asymptote. If I were a Class C player, on the other hand, then maybe I would only come up, excuse me, with a move of that quality. but I would then approach that move. So the point is that no matter what your quality is, or what your strength is as a chess player, there's some sort of absolute level that you'll approach that you won't really get beyond. And if you spend more time, there's really diminishing returns, and you end up dithering over, well, is this rook a little better on this square, or is this rook a little better? And it really doesn't make that much difference, and you lose valuable time that you could use later in the game for a more important choice. And so the trick is to bail out here at a reasonable point on the curve where the quality is pretty good, and you haven't used too much time yet, and not to get out here far out on the curve where the quality is just a little bit better and you've used a lot more time. And so a perfectionist is just somebody who is forever living out in this region out here where they're trying to play close to as good as they possibly can play as a chess player, at the cost of time, and that can really hurt you in your practical results. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but it's something that I do all the time. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this little addendum. So long for now.